so much faster than they wanted her to. It wasn't a light pitter-patter of feet on the stairs that announced their imminent arrival, more a herd of elephants on the rampage. Maria barged through the kitchen door with Joe following close behind. Though they were just best friends, they may as well have been brother and sister. He was there often enough, after all. They wore wide smiles on sun-kissed cheeks. The innocence of youth abounded from every sinew, overflowing from every pore as they glowed with excitement. "All right, bud?" Andrew said to Joe, their knuckles meeting in a fist bump. "Yeah, Ange," Joe replied. Ange. It was Joe's nickname for him, and Joe's alone. "Ready for it?" Andrew asked as he ruffled Joe's thick blonde hair. Joe might have been Maria's best friend, but the bond between man and boy was a powerful one. In the absence of a son of his and Sophie's own, Joe was a more than worthy void filler. Joe smiled and nodded until his head looked like it might separate from his shoulders. "Ready," Andrew said, offering his hand in the air at just the right height for Joe to slap it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Their hands met. 4, 5, 6. Joe continued, as their fingers gripped each other's and rose and fell in perfect harmony. 7, Joe said, as the handshake turned into another high five. 8, 9, 10, he concluded, as the high five evolved into 3 more fist bumps. It was their secret handshake, their special greeting, their moment, each time they saw one another. "Again!" Andrew met the boy's smile with one of his own. How could he say no to a grin as broad as that? "1 second, he said, as his phone vibrated in his pocket. He pulled it out and fumbled to unlock it. Andrew might have only been up for an hour or so, but Chris had been at work since the sun had begun its slow ascent across the horizon. 9 a.m. was a safe time to check in. "Morning, mate. Hope you're all right. Let me know what you're up to, and give Joe a big squeeze from me. Kiss." "Morning, all good here. Do I really need to tell you where we're going? Surely it's obvious on a day like today. Kiss." Was it a rhetorical question? Maybe. Probably. Of course it was. Smiley face. Andrew looked beyond the kitchen and into the garden through the bifold doors that led onto the patio. The sun bore down, its rays shining a spotlight on everything they touched. His eyes diverted to the neat row of begonias that Sophie had spent so much time and care sowing, and were now blooming in the midst of summer. The flowers positively glowed, their colours radiating as if given new life by a little bit of vitamin D. And yet, as he took in the majesty of the images his eyes sent to his brain, he still looked for the shaded areas, for the shadows. "All right, love?" Sophie asked, nudging Andrew as she brushed past him. "Course, sweetheart," he replied, nodding his head a little too vigorously. "Working out a plan?" He knew what she was talking about. His eyes darted to the patio itself. Bluntly, it was a state. In a garden where everything else was prim and proper, it stood out like a Vespa at a Harley convention. "I told you I'd do it," he replied. "You haven't got to ask me every 6 months." It wasn't a nudge that greeted him this time, more a firm dig in the ribs. Sophie smiled as their hands came together and their fingers interlocked. "Bloody builders," she said. "You can never rely on them." "I'll get on it soon." "Soon," Sophie replied, raising her hands and using 2 fingers on each to make speech marks in the air. Andrew turned away, suppressing a laugh. He grafted all week long. No way he was giving up a weekend to do yet more work at home. His body was honed from all those years on the tools and the gym, but that didn't mean he didn't get tired. Time waited for no man, and he could feel it creeping up on him day by day, week by week, month by month. Then